Hey guys, happy Saturday. I just wanted to pop in today because the Dancer's Best Body program is enrolling through the end of the day tomorrow. So I wanted to give a little reminder for that. And at the end of this chat, I'm going to announce a little bonus for the next two people who decide to sign up for the program. So if you are watching today or you watch in the next few hours and you take fast action, you can get a little bonus that I'll announce at the end. But I wanted to talk through the 7-step process of reaching body goals healthfully and sustainably. This is the whole Dancer 7-step process. It's what I teach in the Dancer's Best Body program. That's what you get walked through in that program, with the goal being supporting you in reaching body goals for the long term. 7 steps, which, sounds like a lot, but when you think about it, a lot of times we attack body goals with a single step. We think it's about dieting, or it's about restriction, or it's about cutting back our food. And so we sort of ignore the other areas that need attention. Hey, thanks for popping in. So we ignore oftentimes the other areas that need attention. But if you really focus in on these 7 steps, and I would take them pretty much in this order. This is the order that I walk dancers through in the Dancer's Best Body program as far as reaching body goals. But, if you mix them up, it might still work for you depending on where you are to start. So the number 1 step is to learn the basics of healthy eating. So, if you feel somewhat clueless when it comes to healthy eating, learn the basics. It can feel confusing because there's so much information out there. There's a lot of conflicting information out there, but basic healthy eating would be learning a little bit about macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fat. It's going to be a little bit about how you should stack your plate with vegetables in order to make sure that you're getting them in throughout the day. These are basic things that all healthy eating principles should really go back to. So learning those basics of healthy eating, having that knowledge is an investment in your dancing, because dancers who eat healthfully are going to have higher energy, they're going to sustain their bodies better, they're going to maintain healthy weight, they are going to be less likely to get injured. So learning those basics is step number 1. Step number 2 is to adopt a practice of self-love. So self-love and self-care are very closely intertwined. If you're not doing anything for your body to care for yourself, to have some gratitude for all that it does for you, that piece is going to be missing. So I want you to make sure that you're focusing in on, thanking your body for all that it can do. Sometimes I hear from dancers, and I was there as far as really not being happy with myself and picking myself apart and taking issue with specific body parts. I was never a fan of my legs. They were always too big. So when I hear dancers talk about those things now, I say, but what do your legs allow you to do? I was really good at Grand Allegro. It was my favorite. I had a lot of power from my legs. And it's something that I never acknowledged when I was dancing. But in a practice of self-love, you're going to take the time to express and feel that gratitude for all your body allows you to do in dance and beyond. The fact that you can walk around is amazing and something to be grateful for. Not everyone can do that. So finding those ways to practice that self-love is really important. Step number 3, meal planning and preparation. So you've got to, just like you sew your pointe shoes to get ready for class, you need to designate time where you're going to prep meals and you're going to cook and you're going to chop things up and get them ready for healthy eating all the time. If you don't take the time to meal prep and prepare, you're going to fall into convenience foods, which are oftentimes less healthy, more packaged foods, which are oftentimes less healthy. The more fresh food you eat, the more you spend time cooking and preparing and enjoying fresh food, the more easily you'll get towards your body goals. Find the eating plan that works for you. So this takes some experimentation, and it's worth exploring different ideas around food, but finding the plan that works for you. Some dancers can be vegan and that works for them. It's not going to work for every dancer. I get the question around veganism for dance. It can absolutely work. You have to know what you're doing. You have to educate yourself. You have to make sure you're getting essential nutrients that are not necessarily in every vegan food or not in all vegan foods. So, B12, for example, is a vitamin you need, and it's not in a vegan meal plan unless you're supplementing. So maybe veganism is what works for you. Maybe it's not. Maybe you are going to incorporate some fish into your eating plan. Maybe you're going to incorporate some meat into your eating plan. It is the process of experimentation and figuring out what works for you that's going to get you through that step, finding the eating plan that works for you. And it's going to support you in, getting towards those body goals sustainably. And knowing also, along with that, finding the eating plan that works for you, that as time goes on, you will likely have to adjust because our bodies change, hormonal things change. There's a lot of change that goes on throughout different seasons of life that will require you to continue to experiment and figure out the next best eating plan or eating adjustment that's going to work for you. But that's step 4, finding the eating plan that works for you. Step 5 is to cultivate confidence. So this is somewhat connected to adopting a practice of self-love, but it's about supporting your mindset healthfully, making sure that you're giving yourself those confidence boosters from internally without needing external validation. It's remembering that dance is a lot of rejection, especially if you're pursuing it at a professional level, and knowing that that's part of it. And just because you get rejected by a company or a school doesn't mean you're not worthy. It doesn't mean you're not going to make it. It just means you need to continue to feel confidence in what you're doing, know that you're working your hardest, and keep yourself on track in that way. Cultivate that confidence. Step 6 is smart, targeted cross-training. So this, again, is going to be different for all dancers. I tend to recommend some weight training to dancers because it's not often a practice that many of you take on. We tend to fear bulking up and, over developing, but most experts will tell you that from a hormonal standpoint, as a female, there's only a certain level of bulking you can actually do by lifting weights. Really, it's going to make your whole body work more efficiently to have more lean muscle mass. And to do that, weight training helps. Smart targeted cross-training, because you don't want cross-training to take over your life. It shouldn't be something that you are doing 24/7. You don't have to be on the elliptical for 3 hours a night to reach your personal best body. So it is that exploration, just like with the food, to find out and figure out what exercises are going to support you the best. And then step 7 is moving away from restriction and any sort of restrictive mindset that you may have developed over the years. For me, I was dancing pre-professionally in high school. I don't think it was at quite a high enough level, but that is when the restriction and things like that came in for me. And I maintained those practices through college and then into my professional career. And I would say I probably never reached my personal best body while I was actually dancing because of that restrictive mindset, because your body gets into a mode where it is holding on to any body fat you have, it is holding on to any food that you possibly give it, and you're never going to get to what you see as your personal best body unless you get away from restriction and a restrictive mindset. The practice of self-love ties into that, because if you are saying to yourself, I must undereat to get to my goals, you are likely missing out on the piece that says, I need food to nourish and support myself and my body and my dancing. So as you can see, these things are all intertwined, but those are the 7 steps. And it's like, 7 things that you really need to focus on. And like I said, you don't necessarily have to go in that order. That's just the order that I walk you through it in the Dancer's Best Body program. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, the next 2 people to sign up for the Dancer's Best Body program, whether you see this video here or I'm going to send it out via email to the whole dancer email list, if you see it in there, whoever signs up next 2 people are going to get a free copy of the Dancer's Best Body Program workbook. And that's a $35 value. It's only included at the highest elite level of the program. Anyone who signs up for that level gets it automatically. But for the next 2 people who sign up for basic or pro, I'm also going to include that workbook for you. I will send it to your home. And that way you can write down as you're working through the program. It's 50 pages. That's how many worksheets are in the Dancer's Best Body program. And it walks you through these 7 steps. I find that writing is one of the best ways to actually work through a lot of our emotional things that we're dealing with in dance. And it's a great way to sort of cement the ideas and the mental validation that you need to support yourself in reaching your body goals. So thanks so much for tuning in today, guys, and I will catch you next time. Again, the Dancer's Best Body program is open just through tomorrow, and the next 2 people only, who will probably sign up in the next hour or 2, because that's how enrollment typically goes. Those next 2 people are going to get a free copy of the paper printed workbook, the Dancer's Best Body program workbook. See you next time.